you ever seen a face in an everyday object, and then once you notice it, you start to see it everywhere? Even the most random things together can somehow look like a face. This happens to me all the time. Like in my bathroom, I always thought this part of the door looked like a cat face. Other than smiley faces, it's also common that people see other things like the face of Jesus. Jesus is portrayed in modern media as a white guy with long hair and a beard.
Happy 420, mortal.
So it's easy for people to see his face in different objects and also human lookalikes. I mean, look at this. It's a cinnamon roll that looks like Mother Teresa. A more modern example is the Among Us character. Once that meme started, it's impossible to not look at a bean shape and say it doesn't look like Among Us. Even just seeing the color red will make us think of Among Us. We took this already simple shape and made it easier for our brains to see everywhere. Seeing faces and recognizable shapes in random objects is called pareidolia. The Webster's Dictionary describes it as the tendency to perceive a specific, often meaningful image in a random or ambiguous visual pattern. I watched The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and after that I started noticing the number 42 everywhere. Like every time I see or hear the number 42, my brain has to call it out to me. But this isn't pareidolia because it's not an illusion, it's actually there. This is called the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon, when we think something happens more frequently than it actually does after noticing it for the first time. This effect happens because we can't pay attention to everything at once, so we pick the things that we know to concentrate on first. And if you just recently learned something, then that would be the first thing on your mind. Like, say you hear a word you've never heard before, and then you start seeing that word everywhere. And it leaves you wondering, why haven't I seen that word my entire life, and now I've seen it like 100 times in the last 2 weeks. I've experienced both pareidolia and the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon, but I never called them that. Long before I searched it up to find out the real names, I had a phrase that I used for both of them. I called it the Garfield Effect. Since 1988, this orange cat has been plaguing the brains of every human who lays eyes on it. This cat has found a way to be morphed into anything. Garfield shirt, Garfield poster, Garfield game, Garfield mug, Garfield clock, Garfield car shirt, Garfield cat. After I noticed this, I would walk into rooms that I have been in hundreds of times before, and there he was, looking at me, taunting me. He will wash up on your beaches, break into your car windows. Once I tell you this, you too will be cursed with the Garfield effect. Garfield is everywhere and everything. So I hope I answered that question for you. If you have ever seen a face in everyday objects, that happens to a lot of people, me included.